everyone. I'm here with my daughter Adeline. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. We're in the middle of week 2 of self-isolation. I decided to let the old beard grow out. It's a little salt and peppery to make me nervous. But I thought I'd come in and ask Addie if she knows anything about lungs. Do you know what lungs are, Addie?
Yes.
What are they for?
Helping you breathe.
Helping you breathe. And so, have you ever seen an actual lung before?
No.
Would you like to? Sure. You gotta speak up for the camera. I'm not sure they can hear you. So this is actual lung tissue. We'll kind of show the students a little bit there. And if you touch this, feel it. What does it feel like to you? Be gentle. Be gentle.
It feels a lot like a sponge.
Like a sponge. Yeah. And what like the color? Does it remind you of anything? There's kind of this darker thing on the outside.
It looks like meringue.
Meringue. We
Looks
just had a
like
banana
bread
meringue
from over
pop.
here.
It looks like what?
Bread.
Yeah, bread is what a lot of people feel. It feels a lot like bread. It's light and fluffy and airy like bread. And the reason why is because your lungs are made of millions and millions and millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. Have you ever heard of alveoli before? No? Yeah. So your lungs are a little bit like bread when they're all dried out. But this isn't very interesting because it's all dried out. I thought we could do better. Should I do better for you?
Sure.
I have lungs that are not all dried out. And to get these, I'm going to go ahead and glove up. And I'm going to take out my Tupperware and open it up. And here are actual lungs. So I'm going to put them up right here.
It looks like chicken.
Chicken? Yummy,
Oh.
yummy chicken. So I'm going to stand up.
Uncooked.
And I'll just kind of show my students here this structure right here. Hey, feel the front of your neck right there. How does it feel?
Like,
Say it kind of loud.
like
Is it smooth or kind of bumpy?
kind of bumpy.
Kind of bumpy. And guess what? Those bumps are from this tube right here. It's called your trachea. That's where air goes on its way to the lungs. Do you want to feel it? No? Okay. And then these structures here are the lungs, and you have, 2 lungs, one on each side, and there's different lobes. So the right side actually has one lobe up top, kind of looks like half a butterfly, a second lobe, and then this third lobe here. The left side only has 2 lobes, one, and then the half butterfly thing. Any idea why the left would have one less lobe than the right? Brian, you might know this. Do you know?
Something about how air circulates. I can't
It has to
pull
do with
something
your
off the top
heart.
of my head.
Your heart kind of points to the left, so there's less
Ah,
room on the
that's
left
in the way.
side,
So
and
there's
so
more room for your heart.
Here, can you just let it hang? It might be more visible that way.
like that.
Yeah, you can see
So
everything
there's
there.
more room for your
Okay.
heart.
So yeah, so the heart kind of sits to the left, so that little lung would be in the way of the heart. So your left side has one fewer lobes. So you can see this is the trachea, and then it's a little hard to see on this, but it does branch to the 2 lungs. And remember how I said your lungs are made of millions and millions of tiny little air sacs? Do you think we could put air in those air sacs?
Yes, because you love that.
Should we try it? Okay, watch what happens with the lung. Okay, you ready?
Ooh.
Whoa is right. So this is what the lungs look like when they're inflated, and I have to kind of loosen up the alveoli, kind of get stuck, so it wasn't quite as impressive as I wanted. But if you blast them with air, those little air sacs, those little alveoli actually physically inflate, and you can kind of see where that heart fits right in there when it's inflated. And then there's a muscle called the diaphragm that sits right underneath here. Your lungs never quite inflate this much because there's just not enough difference in pressure. So your lungs don't ever inflate quite as much as these are. But it's kind of cool. Do you ever think about your lungs blowing up with air like that when you breathe? No, that's kind of cool. Let me ask you this. There's something you can do that's really, really bad for your lungs. Do you want to touch it?
No.
No. Do you know something that's really, really bad for your lungs?
Smoking?
Smoking! Do you know why it's bad for your lungs?
Because all stuff gets into them when you breathe in.
stuff gets into them when you breathe in. You want to see what a smoker's lung might look like? Let's see what happens if we smoke cigarettes. Do you notice anything different about these?
Black.
It's black, right? Yeah, and I'm gonna loosen these up. They're a little dry. I'm gonna try and loosen this up. So these, by the way, are pig lungs, and they're the equivalent of about 140 to 160 pound person. Yeah, they're from a pig. So you know how I like my C&G smoking barbecue pork sandwich?
Wait, a pig smokes?
Oh, yeah. Does a pig smoke cigarette? Well, sure. You just put the little cigarette up to the cage, and it just no. No, this is simulated. So they use dyes and artificial colors to make it look like a smoker lung. They didn't give the pig cigarettes. But this is the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes every day for 20 years. Does that sound like a lot of cigarettes? Guess what? It's not. Because most people, do you know when most people start smoking? When they're old, when they're young. When do most people start smoking?
No.
Younger, middle and high school. So if I had started smoking when I was, my high school student's age, say 18, I would have had about 23 years of smoking under my belt right now. And I actually have a friend who did start smoking in high school, and he's not stopped smoking. And so his lungs probably look like this, and he's my age. Does that seem like a good thing? No, and I don't feel that old for my lungs to already be that bad. And a pack a day is not a huge amount for a smoker. So so basically a lot of people my age, their lungs might already look like this. So let's just kind of take a look at what happens here. If I blow it up, there's something interesting happening over here. Do you see it? Maybe, I don't know if you can see from your angle. Can you see it, Bri? What's going
There
on?
seems to be a ridge of some sort.
There's this weird bump. You want to feel the bump? No. It feels like this little plastic ball in there. Do you know what that is? It's a little plastic ball. They sewed it in there. But do you know what it's supposed to represent?
What?
This is a tumor. This is lung cancer right here. And so some of these chemicals that were in the lungs made the, cause the cells to lose control of cell division, and then you get this big mass of cells dividing uncontrollably, and it makes this lump. And so when you inflate the lungs, that lump interferes with the flow of air into the bottom of his lung. So this person's not only has cancer in their lung, but they're also having a really hard time breathing because they can't get enough air into their lungs. So that's not good. And by the way, do you know how much cigarettes cost? I don't either, but I think it's around $10 a pack maybe. So this person paid $10 a day to have lungs look like this. So $10 a day, how many days are in a year?
365.
365. Hey, Bri, you're the math guy. How much
I'm
money
working
is
on
that?
it. So 700. So 20 times 10.
365 times 10.
No, it's $10. We said for 20 years.
Oh, you're doing it for 20 years.
Well,
Well, how much a year?
$3,650.
$3,650.
I'll get the other one in a moment.
This person paid $3,650 to have their lungs, a year, to have their lungs look all black and to have skin cancer.
Roughly $73,000, I think, if you did this for 20 years.
$73,000 over 20 years. That's like 70 teacher salaries or something. I don't know. That's a lot of money to make your lungs look like that. Because you know what I would say you should do with your money instead of getting lung cancer and making your lungs look black?
Get food.
Oh, well, that's very responsible. Get food, she said. I was going to say go to Hawaii. Oh, video games? Yeah, there's a lot you can do. I was going to say go to Hawaii. You could probably have a very nice trip to Hawaii twice for $3,650 a year. So for what you're spending on cigarettes, I would say skip the cigarettes and go to Hawaii twice. Except not right now because the whole airport's shut. Well, yeah, you know. All right. Well, what do you think? Any questions about lungs and how lungs work or smoking or anything? Are you going to smoke cigarettes? Hey, Bryson, would you like a cigarette right now?
No, thank you.
Good job resisting peer pressure. That was a test and you passed. Okay.
Does smoking do anything to your trachea?
It actually does. There's these little cilia, they're called, these little hairs on the cells of your trachea that are meant to sweep debris up and out of your airway, and smoking actually paralyzes those cilia. So not only are you introducing more debris into your lungs, you're actually paralyzing the system who's meant to defend you from that debris. So it's a double whammy, man. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you're doing well.